The story of Cyrus, the king chosen by God. Many centuries ago, in the vast and powerful Persian Empire, there ruled a king named Cyrus the Great. He was the founder of the Achaemenid Empire, which became the largest empire the world had seen at that time, stretching from the Mediterranean Sea in the west to the Indus River in the east. Cyrus was known not only for his military brilliance but also for his progressive and just leadership. However, what makes him truly remarkable in biblical history is how God chose him to fulfill a divine purpose for his people, the Israelites. Cyrus' story is extraordinary because he was a Gentile, a non-Israelite, yet God referred to him as his anointed. The Hebrew word for anointed is the same word used to describe kings and priests chosen by God, like King David. This shows the unique and significant role Cyrus played in God's plan for history. For decades, the Israelites had been living in exile in Babylon. Their homeland, Jerusalem, had been destroyed by the Babylonian king Nebuchadnezzar II, and the temple, God's dwelling place among his people, lay in ruins. The Israelites longed to return home, but they had no power to free themselves from Babylonian captivity. Then came Cyrus, whose rise to power was no accident. Over 150 years before Cyrus was born, the prophet Isaiah, inspired by God, prophesied about him. In Isaiah 44 verse 28, God said, "Cyrus is my shepherd, and he will accomplish all that I please. He will say of Jerusalem, let it be rebuilt, and of the temple, let its foundations be laid." In Isaiah 45 verse 1, God called Cyrus by name, saying, "This is what the Lord says to his anointed, to Cyrus, whose right hand I take hold of to subdue nations before him and to strip kings of their armor." When Cyrus rose to power, he conquered the Babylonian Empire in 539 BCE with remarkable strategy and little bloodshed. The city of Babylon, one of the greatest cities of the ancient world, fell to him almost effortlessly. The event fulfilled another prophecy from the book of Daniel, where the famous handwriting on the wall, Daniel 5, foretold the fall of Babylon and the end of King Belshazzar's reign. Cyrus entered Babylon as a liberator, and his policies of tolerance and respect for local cultures and religions set him apart from other conquerors. After his conquest of Babylon, Cyrus issued a historic decree in 538 BCE, which is recorded in the opening verses of the book of Ezra. The decree allowed the exiled Israelites to return to Jerusalem and rebuild the temple of God. Cyrus proclaimed, "The Lord, the God of heaven, has given me all the kingdoms of the earth, and he has appointed me to build a temple for him at Jerusalem in Judah. Any of his people among you may go up to Jerusalem, and may the Lord their God be with them." Cyrus not only permitted the Israelites to return, but also provided them with resources for the journey and the temple's reconstruction. He returned the sacred vessels and treasures that had been taken from the temple by Nebuchadnezzar decades earlier. These included gold and silver items, which were essential for worship in the temple. Additionally, Cyrus instructed the local governors and officials in the surrounding regions to support the Israelites with materials such as timber, livestock, and other supplies to ensure the temple's completion. The Israelites, led by Zerubbabel, a descendant of King David, returned to their homeland with great joy and hope. They began rebuilding the temple, which came to be known as the Second Temple, marking a significant moment of renewal and restoration for the Jewish people. This rebuilding project was not without challenges, as the Israelites faced opposition from neighboring peoples, but Cyrus' decree provided them with the legal authority to persevere. Cyrus' policies were not limited to the Israelites. The Cyrus cylinder, an ancient clay artifact discovered in Babylon, contains an inscription describing his approach to governance. It highlights his respect for the religions and traditions of the peoples he ruled, emphasizing his commitment to allowing displaced peoples to return to their homelands and restore their places of worship. The cylinder is often regarded as one of the earliest declarations of human rights. Cyrus' influence extended far beyond his lifetime. His actions not only fulfilled biblical prophecies but also shaped the course of world history. By allowing the Israelites to return and rebuild, he paved the way for the restoration of their identity and faith. His legacy is celebrated in both biblical and historical records as that of a just and visionary leader. Cyrus' story is a profound example of how God can use anyone, regardless of their background, nationality, or beliefs, to accomplish his purposes. Though Cyrus likely worshipped the gods of Persia, such as Ahura Mazda, he acknowledged the sovereignty of the God of Israel in his decree. His life reminds us that God's plans are far-reaching and that he is sovereign over all nations and rulers. Through Cyrus, God demonstrated his faithfulness to his promises and his power to orchestrate history for his glory. His story encourages us to trust in God's timing and his ability to work through unexpected people and circumstances to fulfill his purposes.